Hello, Capricorn. Welcome to Miss Leo's Tarot. This is going to be a singles read for the rest of July. This is going to be for Capricorns that are currently single and not entangled energetically with anyone at this time. All right, so I've already pre-shuffled all of your cards just to kind of save time and so we can just dive right in and get started. All right, Capricorn, so your current love energy, this is where you're at currently in your love journey. We have the Seven of Wands. And we have the World card with the Page of Swords. So I feel with the Seven of Wands here, you're in like a guarded energy, okay? I feel like you've really been hurt in love up until this point. You're very guarded. You're very emotionally detached. We have the World energy here. So I feel like you have just completed some sort of karmic connection, or, it's a closing of a chapter basically with the World. And I feel like with the Page of Swords energy, you're stepping into more curious type of vibe where, you're pretty guarded and, you've learned a lot of harsh lessons here with this past connection with the World energy that you're, currently clearing out of your life, but you're still curious, Capricorn, about, what's coming forward for you. I just feel like even though you're in this guarded energy, you're still curious and hopeful of what's to come next. All right. So let's get a clarify it with an oracle message. Okay, so we have summertime. So Capricorn, I feel like this is definitely you having fun, being curious, just kind of like getting back out there on the single scene, meeting new people, having fun. So I feel like right now, love feels like something you're approaching like strategically and protectively. You're rather, you're just trying not to be blind. You're strong, you're wise, you're more self-possessed than ever, and you're not afraid to cut off anything that doesn't align, with your growth or your new chapter. And I feel like that's what you're really stepping into. You're closing out the old and you're kind of stepping into the new type of vibe. So, I feel like this is a period of growth for you, warmth and openness returning after a long, hard, connection here in the past, kind of like an inner winter type of thing. It's a time to step into the light, be more social, exploring new possibilities. I feel like things are finally coming to fruition for you here. I feel like this is the perfect opportunity for you right now to meet someone new. It could literally be during this, like right now, like in the month of July and August, in the summertime energy. And if it's not talking literally about that, then I just feel like it's that fun vibe energy where you might be going on vacation, you might meet somebody new at that time, while you're having fun and maybe going out to clubs and partying and just, having fun. All right, so let's move on to who or what is coming towards you next. All right, so we have the Two of Pentacles. Ooh, we have the King of Wands. And we have the Five of Swords. So with the Two of Pentacles energy, I feel like this is juggling energy, very indecisive, somebody having a lot going on in their life. You could be meeting someone soon that could be an Aries, Leo, or a Sagittarius, a fire sign. All right, someone that's very charismatic, someone that has, a lot of, they get a lot of attention. This is someone that makes bold moves, not the most inconsistent, energy. As we see here with the Two of Pentacles, it's very indecisive energy. But here's the warning. We have the Five of Swords. All right. So I feel like there's an element here. It's like conflict, mind games, a situation where somebody, has to win at all costs, even if it means leaving others hurt or confused. It can represent someone who is still carrying ego wounds, someone that's defensive, someone that needs to prove themselves. All right. So I just feel like, someone confident and charismatic, who may be juggling priorities or unsure how to fit love into their life, but they carry an energy of conflict, or self-protection here. They may approach you with strong, bold energy, but Spirit is saying, you need to be cautious, because as we've seen here in the Seven of Wands energy in the world, you have, majorly leveled up. And there's a good reason why you're, defensive and guarded, is because you've just finished clearing out some sort of major, karmic connection. I feel like you've, leveled up energetically and spiritually. So, I feel like, Capricorn, this is a test from the universe. Basically it's asking you, are you truly ready to receive love that is aligned? Or will you accept someone who is, attractive, but inconsistent or ego driven? So I feel like this is kind of like a warning for you about this person that's, coming into your life here pretty soon. So just kind of keep that in mind. All right, so let's pull an oracle message for you at this time. And we have the door is open. All right, so I feel like, yes, there is an opportunity here for a new connection here. Also, I would like to say for people that, the Page of Swords energy, kind of like going back here a little bit, this, can also point to someone keeping an eye on you, someone that has, they have you on their mind a lot. Someone, this is typically the spy card where they're watching your socials, that kind of thing. But this can also mean that there's someone thinking a lot about you that also still feels that there's some sort of energetic door open to you. Okay. So that's kind of like another warning here that someone that you've dealt with previously could feel energetically like this door is open, and they could be reaching out here that has this type of personality. So take it however it resonates, but yeah. So moving on. So let's get their intentions towards you. Are they serious? Are they looking for fun, or are they wanting commitment? Let's see. All right. So we have the Queen of Cups energy with Eight of Wands, fast movement, communication. And we have the Two of Wands, which is all about, looking ahead, making choices. So this person, their core intention here with the Queen of Cups is to connect with your heart. They see you as somebody that's nurturing, compassionate, emotionally wise, someone who feels safe and comforting, somebody that, is kind of like a shoulder to cry on, someone that's very, healing and nurturing, and so on some level, they do desire emotional closeness, and they want to, kind of like soften your walls. They kind of want to worm their way, into your heart, However, sometimes the Queen of Cups can also show someone idealizing you. They might see you as the perfect, healing presence, without realizing they need to match that same depth. And so I feel like your person here with the Two of Wands is kind of in that energy where they're just very, undecided, very, just not very open emotionally. And I feel like they're really attracted to that side of you. All right, we have the Eight of Wands energy here. So I feel like, this person intends to communicate quickly and, kind of move towards you very rapidly, but, they may want to reach out suddenly, travel to you, or break some sort of like no contact if that's what you guys are in. I kind of, I'm getting the vibe that this could be someone from the past here. It's like an energy of, I just can't hold back anymore. I need to speak to Capricorn. Like I need to move forward with this. So their intention is to get things moving, possibly after a period, of indecision here. So, that's what this person needs to do, is like make a decision. They're kind of like in a planning and choice energy. Their intention is to explore a possibility of a future with you, but they're still kind of like at a crossroads internally. They just kind of like want to see what happens rather than fully committing yet. It's very indecisive energy. I feel like they are drawn to you. They're looking at the potential path, but they're also keeping an eye on their comfort zone or, other options here. This is not like necessarily like deceitful, like cheating energy, because I don't feel like this is like relationship energy or anything. It just shows that they're still evaluating, where they stand long term. I feel like there's a lot of indecision here about this person and what they see happening for themselves in their own, love story type of thing. So they see you as someone deeply healing, and they feel magnetically pulled to you, but they're still choosing whether, they want to fully step forward or stay in a more casual or like exploratory energy. All right. So let's Let's pull an oracle message to kind of clarify. All right, so we have heart lockdown. It says you're not open to love right now, emotionally unavailable, or needing to heal from the past. So Capricorn, I feel like this person is definitely, emotionally unavailable underneath the surface. I feel like this person appears open and passionate on the surface, but at the deeper level, they are emotionally, they're emotionally guarded. I feel like they carry old wounds, like unresolved pain or fear of opening up emotionally, and that keeps them from like offering their heart fully, so I feel like they may crave connection here, and, communicate, but I feel like they're going to hold back true emotional intimacy when it gets, when things start getting real. So I just feel like you need to be cautious with this, Capricorn, when this person kind of enters into your orbit. All right, so moving on. So what is the potential outcome, or where could this go? So we have the Ace of Wands. So yeah, this could be like a new beginning, new passionate beginning. Ooh, we have the Five of Pentacles with Judgment energy. So, I feel like with the Ace of Wands and the Five of Pentacles, there is like, if this is someone from your past, I feel like this is like healing energy here, a opportunity for some sort of new start. Judgment energy is about, a lot of the times reconciliation, things, being rebirthed here, things, kind of like coming back around type of vibe, coming out from the cold here with the Five of Pentacles, and, the Ace of Wands is all about starting new chapters, very passionate new beginnings here. The Ace of Wands here, is very passionate and lusty type of energy. But I feel like, it's obviously, intense like chemistry. It's, feeling pulled to each other physically. There's a strong like passion here. But I feel like, the Ace of Wands, even though it's, initially like magnetic pull towards each other, it's not like guaranteed for stability on its own. So I feel like initially it'll be exciting and everything with the Ace, but here with the Five of Pentacles, there is a chance here that you're going to still be feeling like your needs are not being met. You're being left out in the cold. There's this sense of abandonment here. There's lack of emotional effort, lack of consistent effort here. Like I just feel like you're going to be feeling like there's something missing. All right. So this card is all about awakenings, karmic realizations, and final decisions. So I feel like this connection may serve as a spiritual lesson or a catalyst for your growth, right? So I feel like you're kind of like, you're leaving behind some sort of old chapter with someone that left you feeling unfulfilled. And, you've had to like step up energetically and start, aligning with somebody energetically that is going to show up for you. Right. So this brings a moment where you must truly see the situation clearly, face the truth, decide once and for all, whether to close this cycle out for good. And I feel like, that's another message here. All right. So let's pull oracle message. Okay. So we have father figure. So I feel like, Capricorn, this is what you're calling in here. I feel like the universe is testing you. Like, do you still, want this past connection? Are you seriously done with it? Because if you are, we are aligning behind the scenes something that is more emotionally available, someone that's loving and supportive, someone that's more compassionate, empathetic, and intuitive, somebody that is going to show up for you the way that you deserve. No more of this breadcrumbing energy here. Yeah, so that's what I feel like you're calling in here, Capricorn. You're calling in somebody that is, going to show up for you, basically. All right, so let's get your advice. We have the Knight of Wands. We have the Temperance energy. And we have the Wheel of Fortune. All right, so your advice is to, stay strong, stay bold here with the Knight of Wands. I feel like, Spirit is, asking you to, really accept that things are aligning and changing for you behind the scenes here with the Wheel of Fortune. Things are happening in divine timing, and I feel like Spirit is asking you to stay open to connections that, where they feel peaceful, not chaotic, not, a sense of like feeling stuck in loops and cycles, and like karmic patterns here. Let's pull an oracle message. All right, so we have powerless, feeling stuck and trapped, caught in, I just said that, yeah. Feeling stuck and trapped, caught in a cycle of anxiety and uncertainty, blinded by love. So I feel like, Capricorn, you feel like stuck in a karmic loop here with somebody. And I feel like it's, I just feel like it's, repeating old emotional cycles out of fear or, attachment to a person. Okay. Kind of like a fear of being alone, or you're staying in situations that don't serve your highest self because of strong, chemistry, here with the Ace of Wands, or emotional ties with somebody, feeling like you can't move on or make a clear decision because your heart overrides like your inner knowing, also I feel like it could be a deep fear of losing someone, or being, like I said, being afraid of being alone, which also keeps you stuck in these karmic loops, these, this cycle, that just seemingly never ends. And Spirit's advice is saying, with the Knight of Wands energy, you need to be bold and start stepping up and stepping into your truth, that, you can move forward, by yourself here, so, yeah, it's like Spirit is encouraging you to like reclaim your personal fire and your own sense of freedom. You are free, you're capable of moving forward on your terms, so you're not meant to stay stuck for the sake of like passion alone. So that is Spirit's advice for you, Capricorn. Just, kind of like learn to just step into your own independent energy. And I feel like, like I said, with the Temperance energy, things are aligning behind the scenes that are going to be a lot more stable for you here, because I feel like you're aligning here with somebody that is going to be, able to step up and give you the commitment and emotional, support that you're looking for here. I just feel like you just need to kind of let go, and end this cycle here. And that's when things are going to start aligning for you a lot faster. So that is what I have for you, Capricorn. Hopefully this reading has resonated for you. If it has, feel free to hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.